What's up guys, welcome back to another episode. Today we are working on the mighty M50B20 powered T18 Toyota Corolla, and I'm super pumped because we are making massive progress in this build. Now, quick disclaimer, I've already filmed this, but unfortunately I lost some footage of the first wee part of this episode. Don't really know what happened, but basically in the first part I was installing the radiator. Obviously it's now all installed and it's looking awesome. So pretty much what we did was, because there's such a limited amount of space here, because obviously this giant engine in this engine bay that usually has a much smaller engine, we were limited for space up front here. But what we have done is we've got our Honda Civic radiator, right? And we have made a nice kind of L pipe that comes straight off it, just so that we can avoid all of these pulleys and stuff like that for when we do put our drive belt on. So usually the radiator cap on these are down here, right? We're going to leave the cap on here obviously, but because it's running sideways, I'm not running it vertically, just for space and the way that it all fit up. We have this little adapter here so that we can obviously put the water in. It's also got a hole in the back for a temperature sensor, because I'm going to be running an aftermarket temperature gauge. And that is basically it. Very simple. I've welded some brackets down here to mount the radiator to, so it's all mounted solid, and very, very simple radiator setup. Now what I will do is I'm going to cut the back kind of stuff off this grill. You won't see it obviously at the front, and we are going to run a fan down here just to pull some air through the radiator for when we are idling. Obviously I know some of you guys are going to say, man, that's quite a small radiator. Obviously this is an aftermarket alloy radiator. These radiators keep boosted Hondas cool, so it's going to be more than enough for our NA 6-cylinder stock M50B20. So we're good. But that's pretty much what we got up to for the first portion. Now we're going to go to the next day, the next part of this video, where you guys are going to see a whole bunch of awesome stuff. This thing is freaking rad. You! And we are back. As you can see, the car is now in the air on axle stands. We've made a little bit of progress off camera. Dan came over and started working on the brake lines, putting them all back in. So shout out to Dan for helping out with that. So I got the front brake lines in, which is cool. We also had a suss of the exhaust, because it kind of ends right here, and we need to get it obviously down to the back of the car. Not all the way back. We're going to run a muffler, which we have right here. And we've got a whole lot of piping. We've got some flanges. Just a single straight through muffler, so the car should sound reasonably good. These M50 engines aren't notorious for sounding very good with a straight pipe, so hopefully that muffler kind of does its job and makes it sound a little bit better than what they usually sound like. We've also started to suss out the drive shaft. This is the E36 drive shaft. It mates to the R31 drive shaft at the back, which we haven't done yet. Still has to be done because the R31 diff. And it looks like it's all going to fit perfectly, which is really cool. But the most exciting thing is the fuel pump turned up today. So unfortunately the camera was flat, so while I was charging the camera, I installed the fuel pump, which is right here. So it's all installed now. The wiring isn't fully run yet, but what we're going to do right now is chuck some fuel into the tank, run some power to the fuel pump, check that the fuel pump's hooked up properly and that fuel makes its way through the pump to the front of the car. And then if that's all good, we're going to chuck a battery in and I think try and start the car. I haven't run a fuel return line yet, so what we're going to do is just run the return line into a fuel canister. That way it catches the fuel and we can just put it straight back in the tank. But I'm really keen to see if this thing is going to start with actual fuel pressure under its own power, so let's do it. But first, we need a little motivation. Cheers. That stuff is delicious. The taste of Japan in a can. Alrighty, so we have fuel in the tank, so now I just have a battery charger right here. Sorry guys, I'm laying on the ground. Hooked up to the fuel pump, so just gives it enough power to see if it works. And oh yeah, there's definitely petrol. Yep. Oh, and it's coming out the front, so we know we have fuel coming to the front of the car. So I got the install right, which is awesome. So now we can that's pretty good. Now we can chuck this fuel hose here on. So this hose is coming, this hose runs to the front of the fuel rail. So this just goes onto this line here. So let's chuck this on for now. Obviously put a hose clamp on it, clamp it up, And then from the other side, I'm going to run just some hose that we have here just into a fuel can so that it doesn't spill everywhere on the floor. And then I'm going to go ahead, throw a battery here and try and start the car. Oh my god, I'm so pumped. Awesome. So unfortunately I hit a bit of a roadblock in that there was a bit of a wiring issue. I think that when we started it with the aero start, we had the ignition 12 volt in and the start signal in, and the coil packs were powering up, so it was firing the spark, right? But it wasn't getting power to anything else in the circuit, so the aero start started the engine and that worked slightly. But now that we're actually trying to get fuel and stuff through it, I realised that the fuel pump relay and stuff wasn't actually working, and so the rest of the kind of ECU and stuff wasn't working either. So I was chasing a wiring issue for the past hour. I figured it out, which is rad, but now my batteries, both of them that I have, are flat, so I'm charging them up overnight. Tomorrow we're going to come back in and tackle this. It'll be in the same video, don't worry. Once we get this thing running, we're really on the home straight. It's just a whole lot of niggly little things to get done, so I'm very pumped. But the same video, we're going to keep pushing on, so I'll see you guys in the morning. And we are back. After a bit of a stressful night last night, we now have a freshly charged battery hooked up. I also double checked everything. The wiring is now correct. Fuel pump's hooked up. Everything's good. So now, technically, we should be able to hit that start button. And the car hopefully should run. Yeah, far out. Alright, let's give it a go. I'm a little nervous. Come on, dude. Please work. Alright, here we go. Oh damn! That's what's up. Yee! Oh man, that is freaking amazing. How good. It's definitely not easy putting an engine that's meant for one specific type of chassis into another chassis. And the feeling of it actually starting is freaking amazing, so I'm super stoked. Now it means that we can move on to all the other smaller things and actually get this thing on the ground and see if we can take it for a drive. Unfortunately, I don't think that'll be in this video. Still a little bit left to go, but now we're going to go ahead and just keep moving forward and start working on the exhaust, because at the moment it's too loud, and if I keep starting it like that, my neighbours are freaking going to kill me. So let's sort out the exhaust and see what we have to do to get this thing a little quieter. So this is where our exhausts currently sit, just next to the gearbox. So we need to get it obviously all the way down to the back. So we've got our flanges, right? The little trick I like to do is weld bolts onto the flanges so that you only have to do the nuts up on the front instead of having to have a ratchet on the back as well. And we're simply just going to go ahead and tack these on, and then we'll move on to building the rest of the exhaust. We have to do this right here because it means that we can get the headers off through the steering column. If we built the rest of the exhaust all as one piece, we'd never ever be able to take it off, and that would be stupid. So we'll go ahead and do this, and then we'll move on to the rest of the exhaust. While we're here, we're also going to chuck our new CAS Engineering gearbox mounts in, solid mounts, because these ones are shot and we've got the gearbox mount off at the moment, so we can do the exhaust, so we may as well do that while we're at it. Alrighty, so both of the flanges are now tacked on, and we're going to go ahead and continue to do the rest of the exhaust. But first, I've pulled out the crusty, half cracked, broken, frickin' old gearbox mounts, and we're putting in these brand new CAS Engineering mounts. Solid mounts are the best thing that you can do to your car if you're building an E36 drift car, or pretty much any drift car. stops the gearbox and engine from moving around. So solid gearbox mounts, solid engine mounts. We've already got solid engine mounts because I built them, and that'll just stop everything from going everywhere. Makes the car feel way more solid. If you have a street car and you're thinking about putting these in, just remember that you will get a lot more noise inside your car and feel vibrations, because these OEM rubber ones dampen the vibrations. So maybe use OEM if you've got a street car, but Kaz Engineering all the way if you have a track car. Link is in the description for any Kaz Engineering stuff. They do a whole bunch of bushings, as well as of course the lock adapters for the E36, which is freaking amazing, and soon to be custom LCAs for the E36, as well as a whole bunch of other bushings. So go check them out, but we're going to chuck these in right now. Yeah! Alrighty, so I've skipped forward a little bit, sorry I got a bit carried away, but this is where we're at with the exhaust. So it comes down, goes 2 into 1, where it opens up to 2 inch, so it's bigger diameter. It's obviously not going to be like the freaking best flowing exhaust in the whole entire world, but this is an NA 2-litre motor, so it's not going to be anything crazy, and it's completely stock motor as well. So as it sits, it's already going to breathe better than it was stock with all the cats and mufflers and stuff. So we're just simply running one straight through muffler on the system. So we're down to the gearbox mount. Now we need to just, I'm thinking I'm literally just going to run the muffler straight up after this, and then just run the exhaust out the side of the car for a side mount exhaust, because why not, man? Drift car life. So this is where we are at. We effectively have the front half of our exhaust all welded up and ready to be thrown into the car. So there's the stock headers that we used, obviously, we've welded onto those, got some flanges, and then we've got our 2-to-1 pipe here, and then obviously off this will come the muffler and then the side pipes. So pretty straightforward. So I'm going to go ahead, throw this back in the car and see how it sounds. Booyah! Our exhaust is bolted up. And this is how it looks so far. I think it looks pretty rad, considering I'm in no way, shape or form a fabricator, but it's an exhaust. Let's see what it sounds like with the car on. I mean, it doesn't have a muffler at the moment, so I assume it's just going to be just as loud as it was before, but can't hurt to try, you know. I still can't believe it runs. It's ridiculous. It's a freaking BMW motor and an old 19 something or other Toyota. Man, I am ridiculously stoked. This thing is really coming together. I reckon it's going to be an absolute weapon. We're going to call it a night here, but we're going to come back tomorrow morning for the last segment of this video, where we're going to finish the exhaust and just kind of see how this thing sounds with a proper full exhaust on it, including the side pipe. And then the last video for this thing, we'll be getting this thing completely finished and on the ground, ready for summer matsuri in 2 weeks time, where we're actually going to drift this thing. So I'm just pumped. It's ridiculous. Look what we've achieved. It's just crazy. Like, this is just random spare parts. The engine and gearbox, random spare parts. This car, a friend had it, he didn't want it, bought it off him, but it's quickly grown into something that I actually really like. I'm going to be really sad to let go once it's all finished and all said and done. But right now, I'll see you guys in the morning. You! And we're back. Day 4 in the same video. And today we're going to make some freaking big strides with this car. Right away we're getting into finish the exhaust so that we can see how it sounds with a proper exhaust system on it. Massive milestones achieved in this one video. Let's get to work finishing up this exhaust. So we have the gearbox cross member off at the moment. It's very simple. This piece is just going to weld just like this, just add a bit of length to get it past the exhaust cross member, and then the muffler is going to weld onto that piece, right? And then we're just going to side exit off the muffler straight out the side of the car with this piece, and that's it. That's the exhaust done. Obviously we'll chuck a hanger in there to support the exhaust. Alrighty, so that's all tacked up at the moment. So now we need to finish the last of it, which will be the side exit. And so I've decided I want to twin pipe it. So what we're going to do, we've got this bend here, we'll just cut here and here to cut the center section out, bring these two pipes together, weld them, chop the end off, and then it'll be twin pipe. Hard to probably understand what I mean right now, but watch this next wee montage and you'll understand. Alrighty, so we chopped the center section out of that U-bend. That's gone, and this is pretty much how it comes together. You weld these two pieces together, chop the end off them, and weld it on here, and you've got yourself a twin pipe. Pretty straightforward. And there we have it, the wee blast pipes that we made for the T18. And to be honest, I've got to say, they are some of the better welds that I've ever done, which I'm pretty stoked about. I'm starting to get a little bit better at this fabrication thing. Ew! Time to weld up the last, well, tack up the last of the exhaust before I eat some lunch, because I am so hungry. Alrighty, so I'm fed, I've had lunch, I've pulled the exhaust out of the car. This is how it looks, and we're going to literally weld to 1, 2 and 3, and then we are done. The exhaust is finished and we can bolt it up for the last time. Quietly, I'm stoked about this exhaust because I thought it was going to be quite difficult. Definitely been time consuming, but not super hard, and it should flow more than enough what we need for this NA 2-litre awesome rusty piece of crap car. So we're going to go ahead and finish off these welds and chuck the exhaust back in the car. And that's it. The exhaust is done. Alright, we'll chuck it in the car. Really keen to see how it sounds. Hopefully it sounds freaking awesome. Alrighty, so the exhaust is all done, and it is time to start the car to see what it sounds like. I'm pumped. You! Epic. So good. Yes, that is mint. Sounds so good. You know what that means? It's another thing ticked off the list. The exhaust done. We're definitely making massive progress. Whoo! Alrighty, exhaust is done officially. This is what it looks like poking down out the side. Pretty rad. Should look awesome once it's on the ground. It's got a hanger on it now as well, so it's all supported. Literally, the exhaust is done and good to go. And guess what else is done? I'm done. I have had enough for today. It's been a massive effort. The car is running, sounds awesome. But just before we finish up, let's go ahead and install a shift knob. So I've got one of these rad It's Okay shift knobs. We actually sell them on Two Step Garage, which is mine and Tara's business. So hit up twostepgarage.com, the link's in the description. We sell everything like these steering wheels and a whole bunch of other stuff. If there is stuff that you want that we don't have, feel free to message us, we probably can get it for you. But we're going to go ahead and chuck this on because the shifter, our solid shifter that we have is freaking, it's awesome. Super stoked, works very well, shifts super smoothly but is super short, full race car spec. So we may as well finish it off with this awesome shifter. Comes with these thread adapters, so this one's the one that works for ours, so we're going to smash this on. Should complete this the kind of look in the car. Look at that. Yeah, that is sick. Woo. Oh man, that is so good. Can't be mad about that. Alright, before we finish the video, let's start the car one more time just for fun, because I love it. Alright, before we finish the video, let's just start the car one more time just because I can't get enough of it right now. So good. I'm beyond stoked with this car. It is so freaking awesome. I can't wait to take it for a drive. But of course, first I need to do the drive shaft. That'll be in the next video. I really wanted it to be in this video, but you know, time always gets the better of us. I hope you guys are loving this car and this build. 2 weeks time, we'll be drifting this car, which I'm really pumped about. Until then, I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. More awesome content, of course, coming your way. Peace.